My voyage on the Alaska Ferry ended at Skagway, and it was there that I got on a flight-seeing plane for the journey over Glacier Bay National Park. This area became a national monument in 1925, and in 1980 it was elevated to national park status, and it is a total of 3.3 million acres in size. Haines, Alaska is a neighboring city to Skagway. They are two of the three towns in southeast Alaska which have road access. No roads lead to the park. Your only access is via plane, ferry, cruise ship, or private craft. Glacier Bay National Park's mountains exceed 15,000 feet in some instances. The national park is also composed of coastal beaches, deep fjords, tidewater glaciers, freshwater lakes, and endless steep sculpted valleys. Glacier Bay National Park has experienced at least 4 glacial periods, they believe. The last one, called the Little Ice Age, began about 4,000 years ago, and the glaciers you see today at Glacier Bay are remnants of that period. They have been retreating for the last 200 years. Glaciers flow downhill 3 to 6 feet each day. The ice at the front of the glacier, the part that calves off in big slabs into the water, is between 75 and 200 years old and is compressed snow from endless snowfalls over that length of time. Though we of course did not spot any wildlife from our altitude up in the plain, the wildlife in Glacier Bay National Park includes whales and porpoises, sea lions, moose, bear, wolves, coyotes, marmots, mountain goats, otters, wolverines, seabirds, geese and ducks, bald eagles, terns, and they estimate over 200 species of fish. The Tlingits, one of the native Alaskan peoples, have occupied Glacier Bay for as long as 8,000 years during various periods of glacial recession. And in fact, the Tlingit name for Glacial Bay translates as the bay where the ice was. Where the glaciers come down to the water are called tidewater glaciers. The tides can rise and fall up to 25 feet during a 6-hour period. These powerful tides, of course, cause the glaciers to be undermined and large segments slab off, called calving, and become icebergs floating in the water. These ice flows can last as long as a week before they melt and become part of the ocean. To give you an idea of how the glaciers are receding over the last few hundred years, in 1750, what is now a 65-mile-long fjord was one single glacier, up to a mile thick. That was what was found by the first surveyors on the expedition with George Vancouver back in 1794. The glaciers they saw had receded over 30 miles by the time John Muir explored that same area a mere 85 years later. Muir called Glacier Bay a wonderland, and he called it one of the sublimest spectacles of nature he had ever witnessed. Glacier Bay experiences a maritime climate, which is heavily influenced by the ocean currents. Summer temperatures can reach 60 degrees, and winter temperatures rarely drop below 20 degrees. But those, of course, are the conditions at sea level. Up high in the mountains, there's a far more severe climate. This area is one of the largest internationally protected biosphere reserves in the world, and it is recognized by the United Nations as a World Heritage Site. As we finish our flight and return to Skagway, you can notice the cruise ships that are docked there. As with so many of Alaska's towns on the waterfront, tourism, especially from the cruise ships, is one of the major sources of revenue for the shopkeepers. You can see how the town of Skagway is nestled in this very narrow area between the mountains and the Skagway River here that comes down from the mountains. Hope you enjoyed our little travelogue, and if you'd like to know a little more about Skagway, look for my other video log about the White Pass and Yukon Railroad in the gold rush times in the late 1890s here in Skagway. Bye!